Of Tea with Z. My name is Zamil Solanki, and it's an absolute pleasure to be joining each and every one of you again on another episode. And yeah, stoked to have you here. And if you are watching, definitely give me a like, give me a heart, because as you know, that energy exchange is what we're all about. And if you are watching on YouTube as well, yeah, feel free to do the same. And if you are watching on LinkedIn, definitely jump on there as well. Now, haven't really touched a lot about Instagram at the moment as well, but definitely jump onto Instagram and check out some of the behind the scenes. We tend to put that stuff into more so stories and things like that, so you get notified of it when there's some stories happening as well. So jump on there and check that out. And if you are watching, drop a comment. Drop a comment in the below. Give us a hi this morning and let us know that you're watching, because it only tells me the number of people watching, but it doesn't tell me who's watching. So I can't give you a personal shout out if I don't know who you are by dropping a comment in the comment section below. So really excited to have you on this morning. And I really hope that you had an awesome weekend as well. As you know, last week we ticked over the 100th episode milestone. So being super pumped about that, because that was a huge milestone, and we discussed, I guess, that journey to reaching that 100th episode milestone last week. And we kind of, went through some tools and tips and tricks to really, I guess, persevere to hit that milestone. And this week, what I really wanted to touch on is not so much about, reaching that milestone, but what I'm sort of starting to see play out more and more. And I'm sure you have as well, because as you know, last Friday was Black Friday and all the Black Friday sales. Over the weekend, we heard about non-stop sales. Now we're hearing about Cyber Monday today. Soon it's going to be the holidays and the Christmas sales, and it just doesn't seem to stop. And that was one thing that I really noticed, being in, I guess, a pharmacy environment, but also in a retailing environment, where the number of sale events really, I guess, really didn't have a break. We pictured ourselves each month of about having these key hero events, and soon there's gonna be New Year's, and then there's gonna be Valentine's Day, and then you add on all of the other sale events that kind of happen in the world we live in right now. And I was chatting with some mates over the weekend. And good morning, Kamal. Thanks so much for watching, mate. It's great to see you here. Thanks for dropping a message in this, and special shout out to you. And you can be like Kamal and drop a comment in the comment section below, because that way I get to acknowledge each and every one of you that are watching. And it's great to be on here again. But what I wanted to touch on this morning was, I guess, the age of the sale that we're kind of going into at the moment. And the more that I see, the more that I see around the world of discounting, the more that you've got to really wonder and go, well, how are we actually uh, playing this out in our world? And, Peter as well, mate, thanks for jumping on. Good morning, Peter. Absolutely stoked to have you on here. And Kamal, Peter, thanks for dropping comments, because, yeah, keep them coming in, everybody. And it's absolutely awesome being on this episode with you this morning. But the more we start to see the age of the sale starting to play out, well, what is that doing to the way in which our purchasing behavior is dictated to and conditioned based on what we're doing as business owners, as healthpreneurs, for the society we live in? And I was chatting with some other mates as well in the morning, and good morning, Tash, as well. Great to have you on this morning and most mornings as well. And Tash is a massive supporter of what we do here, and special shout out to you. Uh, so what we're, I guess, moving towards this, the age of the sale, are we now just seeing so many sales that the price or the discount is now becoming so normalized that soon it's just essentially a race to the bottom, and that will now be the new norm, because so many other players will start to drop off? And when you look at, I guess, global, I guess, trends and this age of the sale, well, where does the bottom actually sit? What is the bottom actually going to look like? Because at the end of the day, you've got these massive corporations that are driving the price conversation down. But, what about these smaller retailers? What about these other businesses that haven't played this price game before and are now feeling the pressure to be seen to be playing this price game just in order to maintain some element of market share? So my first question to you this morning is, do you believe that's sustainable? Do you believe that's sustainable for these smaller retailers, these smaller organizations to play that same game that they do versus these larger organizations? And you can relate this to any organization that you like. I'm in the entrepreneur coaching and business consulting space. Am I going up against the likes of McKinsey's, PwC, all these other Deloitte, all these massive companies that have massive consulting arms within themselves? Am I trying to play their game or am I trying to play my own? And as a result of, comparing myself as, a healthpreneur that is, I guess, looking towards being and sorry if you can hear Sarah in the background there. She's definitely jumping on and wanting to have a massive chat, and she's literally running towards the office right now. And might hear Tash trying to shush her. And I will bring Sarah on one of these episodes, one of these days, probably exclusively in the Limitless Network very soon. But when you look at, these likeliness of, comparing a small organization to the likes of a bigger one, well, how do we start to differentiate ourselves? If I were to start to try to play their game, what is the likelihood of my success? And when you look at it in the health space and in the pharmacy space, what is the likelihood of success if we're trying to play the game of these larger big box discounters, these larger retailers that have a massive presence, massive marketing budgets, and are pushing out massive discounting? Now, I'm not saying it's not about just being somewhat competitive, but what is the game that you're playing? And how are you playing it in order to differentiate yourself to not being known for just a discounter, somebody that just sells products at a discount? Because at the end of the day, that's not a game that everybody can win. I was in that game, and without really strategizing and recognizing the lane that you are playing, well, then all of a sudden, you're playing somebody else's game. And more so, you're playing somebody else's game that they're very good at. So what are you doing differently? If you're playing their game, well, what are you doing uniquely to make sure that the game starts playing in your favor? And it's extremely hard to do that. It's extremely hard to do that. And so, what in your lane are your strengths? What can you do and own by running your race and making sure that the game that you are playing is your game and your game alone? Because in this age of the sale right now, the race to the bottom, the marking up to marking down, and we see that all the time. We see that all the time. That's somewhat getting promoted, that companies are coming out with, recommended pricing and things like that, that is far beyond. And at the end of the day, never sold at these prices. And so that perception of a discount or value is somewhat watered down. You've got to kind of see between the lines and go, well, actually, what is the value in this? Am I actually truly saving money, or is it just perceived dollars off? And so, what is the game that you're playing? What lane are you, I guess, swimming in? And what are the outcomes you are looking to achieve? Because as a healthpreneur, are you in it for the patient, or are you in it for the profit? And of course, the business has to be profitable. Of course, I'm not saying that at all. At the end of the day, it is a business. It is a business. Don't get me wrong. But by identifying the unique values of your individual consumer, customer, or patient will help to really define what you are known for. And as a result of that, identify the ideal customers, patients, and consumers that shop with you. Of course, you've got your price conscious consumers. Of course, you do. At the end of the day, I myself, hand on heart, will go out and if I know exactly what I want, need minimal assistance and support, will go out and shop, particularly for high ticket items, and go out and shop for what I perceive to be the best deal for me. That is going to offer the best value for me. And not always that comes down to price. That doesn't always come down to price. It comes down to what I perceive to be the value out of that product, but also about the experience that I'm given with dealing with that retailer or that health related business. And so, my question to you right now is, what are you doing to differentiate yourself in the age of the sale? Because it's only going to grow. It's only going to grow. We're seeing now unprecedented amounts of marketing spend on social media channels. And then on the flip side of that, you're starting to see some amazing companies not play that game anymore. Just out on the weekend right now, we've seen Lush come out, which is a massive brand, which works, I guess, works with young female, a very, young female target audience that is susceptible to, I guess, the marketing efforts on social media, but also the stigmas and the social stigmas that social media portrays. And they've gone, you know what? We're not wanting to be a part of that. We recognize our values, and look, we know that we're going to lose revenue, but we're not gonna play that game. They are differentiating themselves. So are we now seeing an evolving trend to not play that game, to not play the game? And so what game are you going to play? That's my question for you this morning, and the food for thought as we start to enter this week, this new week, and as we start to enter what for many of us is the busiest season in terms of trade. But what game are you going to start playing? Because, like I said, it's the busiest season in terms of trade. But what is trade for you? What is trade for you? So that's my question for you today. I really look forward to reading your comments in the comment section below. A lot of food for thought. A lot of food for thought. And like always, though, and I mentioned at the start, and I'll bring on a special guest that always wants to really have a chat. These are the details for the Limitless Network. If you value health in any way, shape, or form, this is a group of like-minded people who value health. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. So feel free to join. I did see, Peter and Kamal, you're watching this episode in the morning. If you haven't joined yet, or if you haven't brought somebody on the journey with you this morning, well, definitely head on down. All the details are in the description box below. Because it's a safe community. It's an awesome community to bring people on on this health journey. And I know, Peter, you do such amazing work in the Indigenous community. Well, what a great platform to start to empower our Indigenous community to start having these conversations around how they perceive their own health, but also their business of health as well, and taking charge of it. Because like I said, at the end of the day, the age of the sale doesn't have to come down to, a retail setting. How are we discounting the value that we place on our own health and well-being? Think about that. Think about that. How are you in your life discounting the value you place on your own health and well-being? I'm going to leave you with that thought. And this is what these episodes are all about, to provoke a different way of thinking, but relating it back to your health journey. So that's it from me today. Have an amazing day. I really look forward to reading your comments in the comment section below. But that's it from me. I look forward to catching up with you on another episode of Tea with Eve tomorrow, and also catching you in the Limitless Network as well very, very soon. Bye for now.